Hi everyone. Sorry, we had a few technical issues there and things didn't quite start the way I wanted them to start, but I hope everyone is doing okay. Hi. So I can see there's four of us already. So, hi. Sorry, I have started this a little bit late. I hope you saw my message that I was trying to get my son to go to bed and he was resisting and he wanted to basically stay up and see clearly the reason why I was ushering him to bed so quickly. But there we go. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. I can't believe it's Thursday already. And this week has gone by so quickly. So let me know in the comments below. How's your week going? How are you doing? Hope everything is okay with you and that you can see me and hear me well as well. So just let me know if you can't hear me, but I'm hoping you can. So yeah, I've got my tea. Hope you've got something warm. And let me know. So I'll be sipping on this and I hope you don't mind if I do that as well. Hi, Angela. How are you? How are you doing? Tuning in all the way from the Netherlands. Hi, how are you doing? Hope you're doing okay. What's it like over there in the Netherlands? Is everything okay? Everything doing all right? Let me know. Okay, so this week I thought I would hop on this live stream, and I've been meaning to do this for a while actually, because we had said that we were going to be doing a money making 30-day challenge as a community, and it's the 15th of April and we haven't started yet, and I'm just like, oh, it's completely my fault. We were meant to start on like the 2nd of April, and I didn't manage to like do a live stream where we could basically talk about how we could make money as a community. And I thought, you know what, better late than never, right? So I thought, if it's okay, we'll start this week if you haven't done so already. And I thought that today we could talk about how we could basically go about making money online. So I think last time we discussed this, we kind of talked about how we can do it with the things that we already have in the house, as opposed to having to go buy things or finding other ways of like basically purchasing things to sell, whether it be digital, actual products themselves. But we could basically use either our skills, or we could use the stuff that we already have in our home, and we can talk about how we do that as a community. And then maybe on a week by week basis, we can just have a chat and see how far we have gotten with that. Now, personally, I'm more than happy to share with you exactly how much money I make online following this challenge. And every live, I'll basically just be open, honest, transparent, and just share with you my earnings and so forth. And we can have a look at different ways, and maybe we could do it as a community together. So let me know if you're up for that, and we can talk about that in this chat. Also, as you always know, I am more than happy for us to just, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box and we can just discuss it as we go along. So let me know if you're up for that conversation. We can dedicate some time towards just talking and catching up, finding out how everyone is doing. If you're in the UK, as of the beginning of this week, things have opened up. Have you been to the hairdressers? A lot of my workmates, that was the first place they went to. I, on my walk today, went past the pub and it was pretty much packed in there. So let me know, have you been out? Have you seen what is going on? Have things opened up where you are? I mean, the pubs and the restaurants around me have had quite a few visitors by the time I've gone past them. So yeah, let me know how it is for you as well. So Elaine says this week yeah, same here. I actually thought today was Wednesday. I feel like I don't know what it is that's just made the week go really quickly, and I can't believe we're already on Thursday. And yeah, and the weekend's about to start again. Not that I'm complaining, because you know I live for the weekend and I love the weekend. So yeah, absolutely. Hi Nana, how are you doing? Hope you're doing okay. So Angela says that Corona has hit you quite hard. Yeah, same here. So I hope you're keeping safe and all is well with you and your family. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll just start talking as always. And I can talk for a long time. But basically, I have a few notes here, but as like I said during the lives, it's quite nice to just have a rolling conversation and we can just talk as we go along. But basically, I was thinking that we could do a 30 money day challenge and we could think about the different ways we can make money as a community. And what I was thinking about is because I've got so much stuff in my home because of the years and years of accumulation and subscriptions that I have signed up to. So it means that I already have stuff in my home that is just currently living either in like corners of cupboards, corners of closets, under my bed, anywhere I could basically hide it, just so that I'm not reminded that I've got so many things that are just sitting there. And so I was thinking about, I didn't at the time, I didn't know how long it was going to be till everything opened up again and we were able to go to charity shops. But I just thought, I want to really challenge myself to start multiplying my income streams and thinking about the different ways that I can start to make money, as well as just also challenge myself to think about new skills that I can gain. And so I thought, you know what, why don't I challenge myself to see if I can make money in the next 30 days? I asked that over several lives and people were up for it. So I think the way that I've structured it, and if you're interested in joining, let me know and I can send you some, basically like a printout of how this is going to work out. But I've decided that for the first 7 days, all I have to do, so between now and next Thursday, what I should do is I should do some decluttering, go through all my stuff and just be as ruthless as I possibly can, that if it's in good condition, especially if it still has a tag, that I just set it aside to sell. The things that are either don't have a tag or I don't think can sell, then I'll probably consider putting them to taking them to a charity shop, or even thinking about putting them in those charity bins. And then, so in the first couple of days, I will do my declutter. I'll be ruthless. I will make sure I put as much as I can onto 2 particular apps. So I'm thinking eBay because it's known to basically sell anything and everything. And in the last couple of lives, we've talked about Vinted as well. So I've got also like a lot of like my kids' clothes, kids' shoes, kids' toys that have just sat there, never been worn, never been used. And so even the ones that he has worn, maybe wore them for like a season or so, and then he grew out of them. And so I can put those on there as well. And I know that quite a few people have used Vinted and that it's worked really, really well for them. So I will do that. And I'm hoping in the first 3 or 4 days, I can list as many things as possible. And then on the 7th day, we can sit down, we can go through my analytics, we can go through my eBay shop, we can look at how I've set things up. If we have some eBay experts, if we have some Vinted experts, they can show me or they can tell me how I can improve my shop and so forth. And if you want to, you can join me as well and we can just talk about that. And then from day 7 to day 14, maybe we can increase the number of listings, because I know it's all about being visible on the platforms. So try and put as many things as possible. Now, my goal personally is to try and see if I can put at least 50 items on eBay and see if those sell. And then day 14 to 21, we can see how much I'm making on a week by week basis, not just for that week, but on a week by week basis, we can start to look at exactly how much I'm making, if I'm making anything at all. Now, I hope that I will make something. It would be nice to see. And then the last week, we can look at, what I could have done better, whether or not eBay is a good platform maybe to start selling things or not, and how I can progress going forward. Now, I know a lot of people do recommend eBay. So if you've used eBay or any app, please let us know. But I think I'm going to be going for eBay and Vinted. Let me know if you're joining me. And what things do you think you will be participating in this challenge going forward? So Nana says, you started selling things on Vinted. And it's clothes. Oh, I can't actually see it. I can't read it. And it's clothes that you've always meant to slip. Oh, I'm exactly the same. So I had this whole thing where it was like, either I'll buy clothes where I'm like, yeah, I will. That's my motivation top, my motivation jeans, my motivation something. Or if I bought something and it didn't fit me, then I'd be like, no, it's okay. I don't need to return it because I'm going to fit into it. I've got this weight loss journey and I'm going to definitely lose all the weight and it's going to look good. So yes, I too have quite a few of those things. Vinted is going really, really well for you, which is really, really good. And the decluttering aspect is great too. Did you find it hard to declutter? Because I'm one of those people who's like, if I see something, then I'm just like, oh, I haven't seen that for a while. That's pretty cute. maybe I should just, keep it for next time. I'll wear it with something else. So how did you get over that aspect in terms of decluttering? Or maybe you're quite, on point and you know exactly what to do, but it'd be really, really good if you could share some of your insights in that particular area. Oh, so you're really interested as well. Fantastic. So I think that would be quite something that we can do on these lives, and we can just share how our journeys are going. And then if it takes off and we want to carry on as that, then we can do a separate community aspect where it could just be a dedicated group and we can just talk on a regular basis, but it won't be our participation for the entire YouTube. It will just be a small closed community that we can just do it together as part of that. So that's really good. So Mariella says, you've started using Vinted as well. Oh, fantastic. So we've got quite a few people who are using Vinted. So that's really good, because I know I also have quite a few adverts that come up when I'm watching YouTube of how amazing Vinted is. So it's really good to hear that people are recommending Vinted, because it's definitely one on the list for me as well. So maybe I might just, instead of trying two, I should try one. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do Vinted first, and then in week 1, see how that goes. And then for week 2, see how that compares with eBay as well. So I'm really, really going to put myself out there and really try as hard as I can. But yes. So Nana says, it was hard, but you have to be ruthless. Plus you're paying off debt, so you had to challenge yourself. I think that's really, really good. And I think that it's so good to have something that motivates you and something that you are working towards. So I think it's really, really good that actually you are matching the fact that you want to make money with a financial goal, which is obviously to pay off your debt. And I think that's really, really important. So yes, I agree. And I think it makes it easy, especially when you're, thinking about, oh, can I really, really do it? That it's important to have something that motivates you. So that's really, really good. That's amazing. So keep going on your debt-free journey. That's good. I like that. So have you found Vinted to be quite a good platform to use? Is it relatively easy? So we had a look at it at the last live. We sat down and we just had a look at how the app works and the fact that it has no fees. But is it relatively quite easy to just upload stuff? I'm hoping so. I'm really, really hoping so. So yeah. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them in the chat box. Maybe it's for just leave the videos to come out. But for the next couple of series of videos, I have been doing quite a bit on the grocery side of life, because I know a lot of people are interested in that aspect as well. So there'll be quite a few videos on how to cut your food shop as well, and basically cut your food shop budget, as well as making sure you are getting the best deals. So watch out for those set of videos coming up very, very soon. Hi Sue, how are you? Hope you're doing well and everything's okay with you. Okay. Why would I be ruthless? Okay, so maybe it's not the right word, because I've realized when I do some of my videos, I am in fact multilingual, and I don't necessarily always speak in English. Even though English is my first language, sometimes I think if I'm translating something, it works out that sometimes my brain catches it in a different language and the translation doesn't come out correctly. So it might just be that my interpretation of that was wrong. So what I mean by that is that when you are, for example, I think for myself, when I'm decluttering, I need to be as, what's the right word for this? I need to be very clear on what my goal is and not to be swayed. So if I know for a fact that when I go through all the bags of clothes that I've currently hid under my bed because they don't fit me, I don't need them, they don't work out, that once I see them, I can be like, oh, I can be very tempted to just be like, oh, let me just put this one aside. And then one turns into 5 turns into 20. And it becomes a thing of, oh, okay, instead of putting away like 90% of those things, or taking them out of my house, 90% of those things still remain in the house and I don't use them. So I have to be very, very clear on what my objective is, and not to be swayed or tempted by keeping those clothes. So when I say that I want to be ruthless, it means that I really want to be focused and not be swayed or tempted to keep those clothes, and not give in to any decision to do otherwise. So I have to be completely aware that I'm doing this as a challenge. I need to declutter and I need to stick to my goal. So I hope that has made sense. So Nana says that Vinted is very straightforward to use. Fantastic. That's what I need to hear right now. I've got so many things going on. The last thing I want to do is have something that's really, really complicated. So it's good to know that that is an easy option for us. It's very easy to use. People are pleasant. You've had a few bad experiences in eBay. All right. So you don't want to go back to that. So that's really, really interesting, because I know that eBay has a high fraud, actually. Or maybe let me not be saying things that are not factually correct, but I know that quite a few people have stated that there's a high proportion of scammers on eBay, and people have really bad experiences with people giving them bad reviews and stuff like that. So I don't want anything that's really, really difficult. It'd be nice to just have something that's relatively easy to use, quite straightforward and super simple. So that's really, really good insight there. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's really, really nice to know. Yes. Oh, fantastic, Sue. Thanks. I'm glad that it actually made sense. So I think as part of my journey this year, one of my financial goals was to make sure that I try and increase my income sources as much as I can, and just do as many fun things as I can to try and make money, because I think otherwise it can be so daunting to try and navigate the online world and making money that way. And so if you can make it as fun as possible, then I am here for it. But yes, let me know. Does anybody have any questions in terms of finance or anything like anything related to that, or is there anything else that you would like to highlight? Oh, sorry, I thought I heard my son. I thought he had woken up, coming to join the party. But yeah, so that's basically my plan for the next coming days, and I hope that it will work out really, really well. Like I've said, yeah. So that's definitely one thing that I'm hoping to do. I also remember that I need to do a video on my weight loss journey versus investing, because I decided to go on a weight loss journey, as most people did. But I think this was in March time that I did, no, kind of in March time, it was February time that I did a video and said that I wanted to lose weight, and there were different strategies that I was going to put in place to help me on my journey to losing weight. And one of them was to basically put in the amount that I spent on snacks or bad food, the amount that I would have normally spent on that, I was going to then use that to invest in the stock market. Now, I have done a bit of that, but I need to do a full video showing you my progress, which has been a bit of a yo-yo. I can't lie. But I have invested in a few stocks and they're doing really, really well. So I will do a full video on that, because that has been an interesting process. And I was just thinking about the fact that we were talking about, having motivators in place and making sure that you have something that motivates you to do that. So I thought, if I can use the stock market as a way to motivate me to get up, do more exercise and lose weight as well, then, hopefully making money was enough to motivate me. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so watch out for that video. I'm hoping to do more videos as we come along, but as with life, sometimes these things take longer. Doing videos takes longer than sometimes you can imagine. But yes. So she says, you watch my YouTube channel. Always positive and factual. Help for others. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really good to hear that people actually enjoy watching my content. Yes, I always try and make my information as factual as possible. I don't ever want to sway people with the wrong information. I always say I'm not a financial advisor, but that it doesn't mean that I can't give the right information. But I'm not advising anybody in any of my videos. I'm just giving you my experience and sharing my tips and tricks that are helping me, in the hope that they will help anyone else, or at least one person, because it means a lot to me. I know that when people think about the situations that they're in, sometimes it can be so nice to just have one person in the same situation just helping you out. So it's nice to know that. Maybe it's the light. My skin is glowing. I've been struggling so much with my skin lately. So it's good to know that it's glowing on camera, because that's nice to hear, because the reality is something different. I feel like if anyone has any recommendations for good skincare products, I would love to hear it in the comments below, because I have been struggling, and I know that maybe because we're coming out of autumn. We're out of autumn. Maybe because I know we're coming out of winter and we're soon going to be out of spring, and the sun is going to help me and the skin's going to be glowing. Maybe my skin has become much better, but now, thanks. I didn't know that it was, because my reality is I thought we weren't doing so well. So if it's coming very well on camera, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm really trying. Yeah, because I'm really trying to use as much natural ingredients as possible. So at the moment I only have like this one tea tree face scrub that works really, really well, and I only ever use coconut oil on my skin. So that's literally as far as it gets. And I didn't really put on makeup today. I just jumped on. I was like, yep, they're just gonna have to see me the way I am. It is what it is. So there we go. Oh, okay. So you use Simple from Superdrug, okay, or black soap. Okay. Right. Okay. That's really, really good. But the magic is water. Absolutely. I agree. Water is your best friend. Try and keep it as simple as possible. I always find that with a lot of things, when it comes to like makeup or hair care or skincare, you really need to be careful with the ingredients that are in these things. And I found for my skin personally, the simpler, the better, the easier, the better. Like I always try and go for things that have got 5 ingredients or less, and things that I can actually pronounce and recognize. Otherwise, if I don't know what it is, then I'm not going to get it. And plus, it's also good for the budget, because sometimes I find the more ingredients there is, the higher the price tag. But something a little bit like simpler, sometimes you can get them on good deals as well. So yes. So Mariella asks, I know you're doing a no buy year, but do you still give yourself a personal allowance? That's a really, really good question. So I am on a no buy year. It's actually started off by me doing, last year I did a no buy year for just specifically clothes and shoes, because I realized I was getting a bit ahead of myself and spending way too much money on clothes and shoes. And so I thought, we were stuck at home, we weren't doing anything, and there was no reason for me to buy clothes and to buy shoes. I cancelled a shoe subscription, because it was actually pointless for me to have a shoe subscription, because I loved colorful shoes and it was just a nice change to wearing standard shoes in the office. So I really challenged myself to go a year without buying any new clothes and any new shoes. And that really worked out well. And I think it just worked out well because we were at home. Maybe things might change if I'm ever summoned back to the office, but we shall see. We shall wait and see. So that really prompted me to think about how I can really cut down. So as Mariella mentioned, I have got a full video on my channel talking about this. I am currently now on a no buy, no spend year, which means that for non-essential items, I am not allowed to spend any money on. But as I state in a lot of my videos, I'm not somebody who can just say, yeah, for this whole year, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to spend any money on X, Y, Z, because I think for me, that's the fastest way to enter, to allow temptation to come into my life, because all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure I'll be bombarded with like 20% off, 50% off, 75% off, you know? And so I do it on a month by month basis. And within that, I do give myself, so I don't have a personal allowance, but I have a reward system. So it means that, you know, if I did 1 month and I did really, really well, then I'll allow myself to treat myself on something. And then I'll do the 2 months after that, see how I do with those 2 months. And if I do really, really well, I treat myself after that. And then I move it to like 4 months, 8 months, and so forth. So that's the way I've been doing it. But actually, thinking about it, I haven't actually thought about treating myself, because in essence, the only things that I'm really cutting out are anything to do with my personal entertainment or my personal leisure, which all involve going out, to be honest with you. So if it wasn't shoes and clothes, it was going out for dinners, going out for drinks, meeting up with friends. And those are things that we couldn't do. So I didn't need to have a personal allowance per se. And even when I had the opportunity to treat myself, it's not been anything that I can actually buy per se. So what I have done is taken that money that I've rewarded myself and shifted it to buying stocks and shares, which sounds really, really, it doesn't sound as fun, but there is literally nowhere to go and nothing to do. So it wouldn't make sense for me to have a personal allowance for me if I can't basically, and I don't want to buy any more clothes. I'm trying not to buy any more clothes. And I can't think of anything else that would be something that I really want to buy, having done that. So as we're going along, I'm just putting that money aside for when I want to treat myself. So I have set some money aside, which is my fun money, which I always budget for. But it just means that for anything else outside of that small budget, I don't use. And I haven't really used it, to be honest with you, because like I said, what I would have been using it for would be clothes, going out, traveling maybe. But where am I going? I'm going nowhere. I'm just in my house 24/7. I go for walks and I come back. That's about it. You know, that's really it. So I think now this week we've seen that, you know, things in the UK have opened up. Maybe that might change the dynamics a little bit. I haven't really thought about it. Maybe I should. I really, really should. But for me now, maybe it is time to use that reward system to allow me. But what I would say is, if you are going to go on a no buy, no spend year, the rules are completely up to you. You decide the rules. So you could start off with no buying on one particular category and make it more difficult as the year progresses and you find ways to deal with it. And you could also set yourself a personal allowance. The rules are completely up to you, but the whole idea is to make sure that you are really, really intentional with how you're spending your money and you're making the most of understanding what your lifestyle habits. Because for me, as much as it is to try and save, I'm also trying to break down some really ingrained lifestyle habits that I'd picked up along the way. Things like impulse buying, picking up subscriptions, those are lifestyle habits that I'm really trying to break this year. And the best way to do that is to just cut it off at the root and just be like, you know what, no more spending, see how that goes. And then the money saved is just an additional reward out of that as well. So it just depends for what your main reason is. But personally, I don't have a personal allowance. I just have a reward after meeting certain criteria. But I would definitely recommend it. Have you tried one, Mariella? Are you thinking about doing it? Or is it something that you want to do every month? Just let me know if I've answered your question or if this is a separate question. Just to add that, if your little son requires things that are extra that's outside with no spend, will you have flexibility? So that is also a really, really good question. So the no spend is for me and it's not for my son. So it depends by what we mean by like additional things. So these will be things that he needs. But it's really hard when it comes to things that he wants, especially because I don't know what it is, but like my heart, it's like my heart and my card just intertwine when my son wants something. He asks me for something, okay, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay. So the first thing I did was to make sure that the no spend challenge was for me and not for him. So I don't want to basically deprive him of anything, but I'm also very, very conscious of the fact that I also don't want to be just buying things for him, even though he doesn't need them. And just because either he wants them or I think they will be cute for him. So one of the areas, for example, is I do give myself flexibility, but I'm also quite strict with what I can do. So one of the bad habits that I used to have before would be, for example, if I'm buying him clothes, I would just buy clothes anyhow and anyhow. It didn't really register to me that, you shouldn't be buying too many clothes because in 3 months' time, he'll have outgrown them. If I just walked into a shop, if I happened to be walking, if I happened to be driving and I went into a shop, I would just buy. This would look cute. Here's my card. Buy. Purchase, purchase, purchase. Whereas now I'm very conscious and I'm very intentional with what I buy. So if I know that if I see something cute and I see some jeans that are cute, I have to remember, does he have jeans already? Do I really need to be buying 2 extra pair of jeans when the last time he wore jeans was like 4 months ago because he's been living in tracksuits the entire time? So in that sense, I do have a budget for him and I do have budget to make sure that he has the things that he needs. But when it comes to things that come under the no buy year, I don't think I've really specified in entirety what that he's included in that no buy year. This is mainly about me and my spending habits on myself, because the last thing I want to do is to be like, no, you're not getting anything because we're on a no buy year. So so I think for that it just depends on what you want to get out of it. And for me, like I said, it was about changing lifestyle habits that in the first instance impacted me. So that was like, getting a shoe subscription. That is completely unnecessary to have a shoe subscription. There's only so many shoes you can wear in a year. There's only so many shoes you can wear in a day. I don't know how many you can wear completely in a day, but in reality, you only wear 1 or 2 pairs of shoes, at the most 2, because, for me, I would find that I would wear trainers if I'm going into the office, and then in the office, I would change into my office shoes. And even during the weekends, I mainly spend a lot of time in my trainers. So it was really, really unnecessary for me to continuously buy shoes, or even if I wasn't buying them, pay for a subscription service for pretty shoes that I wasn't even purchasing. So it's just things like that I kind of want to curb out of my spending patterns. And I want to become a little bit better with how I use my money. So yes, but if my son wants something and he asks for it, chances are I probably would say 70% of the time I'll say yes. But he's so easygoing. Like I can't even remember the last time he asked me for something big, other than like small things like, sweets and ice cream, which you don't really count. But like anything big was, I think, during his birthday. Other than that, he's a relatively really, really simple child. He it will be more around what I want to get him. But yeah, for the most part, I'm trying to reduce my spending on me. So I hope that's answered your question. Yes. So yeah, I highly recommend a no buy year, especially if you find that you are constantly spending money, or if you go through your bank statements and you find that a lot of the time you have like money that you can't even remember spending. Because that was the thing for me as well, was the fact that for a lot of months, I would look at my bank statement and I would think about, I would go through it and I would see like lines of like £50 here, £100 there. And you're trying to remember what it is that you purchased and you can't remember for the life of you. And that was such a recurring thing that when you tally it up, you're looking at £500-600 and it just doesn't make sense. So it had to stop for me. And I was just like, no, this can't carry on. And I thought, what's the best what's the best way to start then? If you're stuck at home and you've got no reason to, then hopefully I could get an understanding of exactly how much I could save in a year, and then think about how I could apply that going forward. So I think the real test will come when the world truly opens up. I know, like I said, in the UK, things have opened up, but the real test will come when, people start knocking at my door, texting me, oh, do you want to come out? Do you want to go for this? Do you want to go for drinks? Do you want to go out for dinner? That's when it will be super, super difficult. And I'll really have to think about how I handle that dynamic. Because I am one for making sure I spend time with my friends and cultivate friendships, but I also need to make sure that I'm not going out for the sake of going out, because sometimes it's even just cheaper just to have your friends come over, and there's no restrictions. If people want to dress up, they can still dress up to my house. We can still make a big deal out of it, you know what I mean? But instead of spending like £25 on one drink, we can have a good time here. It doesn't have to be out all the time. So I need to think about different frugal ways of doing it without necessarily, one, spending too much money, and two, not spending too much money, but also to still maintaining those friendship and those friendship groups as well, and also just having fun as well. So I think I'll think about that as we go along. I think I'm kind of in denial at the moment. I'm gonna have to think about what that looks like in terms of a no buy, no spend year. So maybe that's when I should put in the rule for the personal allowance. Actually, I should only have a certain amount of money that I'm allowed to spend per month on entertainment and going out. But I don't think it'll be that much. I think I'll just have to do a few more frugal things, frugal picnics and barbecues and all of that stuff. So we'll see how that goes. So she says, you're super impressed with my answers for my son. Oh, following as I find it interesting and agree. It's not all about the spend, that quick fix. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's also about making sure that you capture those lifestyle habits as well. So thank you for that, Sue. That's really sweet. Thanks. Elif says, you're waiting to go out and eat and drink with some friends, however, going to be limited. Yes, me too. One of my friends was telling me that she was trying to book basically just to go to the pub with a few of her friends, and in her area, all the pubs are booked out till, when did she say? August or September, I think it was, because I remember telling her, what's the point? It will start getting cold again. So I think a lot of people are also on the same boat, and I'm in the same boat as well, just because, living in London, you've got so much access to such good restaurants and good foods. And I'm a foodie. I love going out as well. So I can't wait to be able to do that, but do it limited. So, and hopefully not blow my budget and my progress so far, because I've been able to break so many habits so far. I don't want to go backwards, because that would be such a shame. But I think this time around, I have to be very intentional and very clear about what it is that I'm allowing myself to do. Because the other one that actually gets you is the Ubers. The Ubers are the ones that get you, because you can plan to go out, and then your friends, and I don't know if it's the same thing for you guys as well, but like my friends have a way of like, yeah, I'll be out, but I'm not going to be out for too long. Okay, guys, we'll go to this one place, and then one place turns into two places. Then from that place, you move on to the next place. And then it's like the safest way to get home is to use an Uber. But the Uber prices hike up and can be so expensive if you're coming in from like central London and you live on the outskirts like I do. So that's another thing to watch out for. And I'm going to have to consider how I'm going to navigate that. But I do miss going out and seeing people outside of my home. Mariella, you're nervous about that too. You're a sucker for dinners and drinks. Yes, absolutely. So one of my favorite YouTubers, Veronia, always talks about how she is very good at navigating this space, and she'll eat at home before she goes out, and she's very, very strict in how she does it. And I'm just like, I wish she could teach me, because I'm just like, yep, Tell me when you need me, what time. I will get a babysitter. I will be there. And then before you know it, you've got pre-drinks, then you've got dinner, then you've got, after drinks. So you can end up racking up a huge bill. And so I'm going to have to make sure I navigate that and rein that. But I'm so happy to hear that I'm not the only person and that this is actually quite common. So that's good. That's good to hear. But yes, I'm super excited. I'm so happy that the world has opened up again. Things are starting to open up again. I think we kind of missed, for me personally, I missed that sense of normality. And I really feel really sad for like small business owners as well, because it's been a rough year and a half. I can't imagine what it's been like, especially if you don't have an online space and you can't utilize an online space. Then what do you do? For example, like hairdressers, what do they do? I don't know. But yeah, I'm super happy that at least things are starting to open up, and I just can't wait for the weather to completely change. Oh, this is actually a question for anyone. Did it snow where you are? Because it's not snowed anywhere where I am, but I've got friends who had snowing over the week, and it's wild. So this weather better change pretty soon, because I'm ready for summer. I'm really ready. LA says, eating at home is not the same. We work so hard. We need to treat ourselves sometimes. Yes, I agree, LA. But I was just trying to think of a way to make it, sound a bit more frugal and a bit more exciting. But yes, I totally agree with you. It's nice to go out. It's nice to get dressed up. It's nice to go out. It's nice to eat good food, and the atmosphere, being out, seeing other people, even if you're not meeting a lot of your personal friends, but just being out with like groups of people and the atmosphere that brings as well. It's really, really nice. And of course, it's just a break from your regular 24/7, 9 to 5, or whatever routine you have. It's just nice to have that break and interact with people like that. So yes, I agree, but obviously, because I give financial tips, I have to say no, but it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to eat at home. But secretly, I completely agree with you. But it's just making sure that we do it, intentionally and within a specified budget. So yeah, definitely agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. And so yeah. So those are my plans, and I'm hoping that we can go on this journey together. And of course, as we're making money and doing all that stuff, that people can also just enjoy themselves as well. Oh, Alex says it snowed, but just for 5-minute bursts where you are. Wow. Okay. I think I would have been too upset. I'm so happy it didn't snow where I was. I would have been so upset because I've been so ready for summer to come. So I'm glad it didn't snow where I was. It's a bit cold. Well, it's not a bit cold. It's very, very cold. I can't believe that it's April and I had my heating on. I've had my heating on for a few days this week, actually, if not all of them. Because I don't like being cold. I can't wait for the sun to come and for it to get warmer. It's when I think I'll really, really thrive, But yes, definitely. But yeah. So yeah, those are the plans, and I'm hoping to do some more. I think what else is coming on the channel. So as well as doing financial tips, I also want to do some more like how-to practical stuff as well. So for example, I am going to do a video which is coming out very soon, which is on basically how to do your shopping online and how I do it and make sure I stick to my budget, as well as also doing an actual video in a supermarket showing you how I do it. So I'm also going to include some more of those practical stuff because I know a few people were asking me about that as well. So I will include that in the next couple of videos where it is. Do you know what the hype is in rent to rent? No, so I'm assuming you're talking about in terms of like in the property market, making money by taking on a rental property and then renting it out to other people. So basically subletting, right? If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm assuming it's that, and making sure you basically take a profit by subletting the property to different, either one person or to different people if you're doing like a HMO or something like that. I didn't know that there was a hype in it, to be honest with you. But I know that there are quite a few people who say that that's a good way to make money. But I personally think that there's risks in that, because I don't know if, first of all, the lease that you take on is allowing you to do that, allowing you to have multiple occupancies if you take on that lease, and if you're allowed to do that. Because I know for some areas and for some landlords, they will have a specification in their rental agreement that it cannot be subletted to somebody else. But obviously, if you can, then obviously it makes sense that you would make some money in that. But at the end of the day, the contract is with you and the landlord. So if anything happens, you are liable for it. I don't know much in terms of the actual details of how it genuinely works, other than that particular area that I've just highlighted, just because I don't do much on the property scene in that way. But I know that a lot of people talk about the impact that it can have in terms of like your financial, how much money you basically make. So who is the person who, I don't want to say the wrong name, but there are quite a few people on YouTube who talk about it and talk about that it's actually a prime opportunity to do it. But I'm so sorry, I'm not I'm possibly not the right person, because I don't want to give wrong information or information that I think might be right but is not factually correct. But it makes sense that actually if you're getting a property for £1,000 for, I don't know, you can't do that in London, but let's say, for example, you had a 3-bedroom house that you could rent for £1,000 a month, then Samuel Leeds, yes, that is exactly who I was thinking of. Absolutely. That if you had a property for £1,000, then you could rent out each room for like £500, and obviously you would then pocket the £500 difference. But I'm so sorry, I'm not the expert in this. So I don't want to give miscommunication on this particular area. So I wouldn't be able to tell you what that is. So renting out spare rooms. Yes, I also wonder how much people make. So I think it's completely dependent on you and the market value, right? So you can determine how much it is that you want to make. But I know that there might be some government threshold when it comes to basically letting out a room in your home, how much you are supposed to make. There is a tax implication there. But I think people just I don't think many people declare that on their taxes. But I think you just go with market rate, right? So for example, if you're living in London, depending on where you are in London, if you have a 2-bedroom property, I'm pretty sure you could rent out the room for 700 fairly easy. You can also go through for example, if you decided that you didn't want your roommate to find out that you are the landlord, then you could have like a rental manager who would do all that aspect, and then give you the money every month. It's completely up to you. But I had one friend who basically would charge them. So her mortgage was £900 a month, and she would basically charge her friend, who was the roommate, about, how much was she charging her? £750 a month. And then basically she would use that to pay her mortgage, and then pay the additional, the remainder of it to cover the mortgage. And she basically lived like that. And it was really, really easy for her. You just split the bills as you normally would if you were renting an apartment or renting a place with somebody. But yeah, you could definitely do that. It's really, really, it's an easy way to make money. It just depends on whether or not you can live with other people. Funny enough saying that, I'm in a 1-bedroom flat, but I actually considered it, and I considered this was prior to me having my son. I considered if I could rent out my bedroom and then I would basically live in my living room and basically just live like that for about a year. I actually went to an estate agents to find out how much they would be willing to rent it out for me for rent out in my area, and they came back and told me that I could rent the place for $650 a month, which I thought was pretty good. Then the reality hit me that I would have to have somebody else living with me, be in my space. What if I didn't like them, and you've signed a whole contract for an entire year? What if they did things that annoyed me? And as the landlord, it's my property, so I would get annoyed. And I just said, for the sake of peace, it's okay, I'll live by myself. So I personally don't think I can live with anyone else in that aspect. I think I just personally need my own space. Probably better off investing in a investment property and then renting that out. But I don't think I could live with anyone else. But so you could actually rent it out that way. The other way is to get a lodger, which is fairly cheaper, and you have less strict agreements with those ones, I suppose. And then you could just go around that route. That's probably fairly easier if you have a good network system around you and you can find someone who's looking for somewhere to stay. And if they come with like good references, or there's somebody that knows somebody that that they can vouch for them, then I think that one is a little bit more relaxed. And so you could have someone stay with you for a couple of months, a year, but it's not as strict as if you were renting out a room with a rental agreement. So that's my understanding of it. I don't know much in terms of anything more than that in the property side of the world, but but it's an easy way to make money. I mean, the other option is to do what a few people actually have seen on YouTube do, which is, if you've got spare room, is to use that spare room as the Airbnb, and then have that room available when you have guests. And then depending on whether or not you wouldn't want to be there. When somebody books that room, you lock your room and lock all your valuables in your bedroom. They only have access to that room and the entire property except for that one room. And then you basically stay somewhere else for the time that they're there. So if they're there for like 3 days, then you go stay somewhere else for 3 days. They have access to your property, but without your valuables being stored in that one room, locked away. And that's another way you could do it, which I thought actually makes a lot of sense to do it that way. So that's another option of making money. And obviously that one is a lot easier to manage because it's just bookings. You can accept or you can cancel them. You can also decide whether or not what periods you want people to come and visit. So I thought this would have been a really good idea if you were going on holiday for like 2 weeks and you wanted to make some money from your property. Then, put it up on Airbnb for the 2 weeks that you've gone away, or, for the whole summer, really, because you can go somewhere else. But that's another way that I know a lot of people make money with their spare rooms. But it's completely up to you if you're comfortable with people being in your home when you're not there. But so there are many ways. There's so many ways, and this is what I'm coming to find, that there's so many ways to make money online. It's just having the roadmap and the right tools to help you on that. So for example, another aspect that I was looking at in terms of making money is around Fiverr, because a lot of us have got amazing 9-to-5 skills that people want, but we just don't know how to market that. So I've been thinking about my personal 9-to-5, because I do still have a 9-to-5 job. And I've been thinking about all the things that I do on a day-to-day basis that some other people are willing to pay for. And it could be something as simple as, for example, if you've got like a job in analysis or anything like that, then, your ability to collect data is really, really easy for you. But somebody else might find that really hard, or they just don't want to do it. So they're more than happy to pay others to do that. Another one, for example, if you are a personal assistant and you're really, really good at like clearing people's inboxes, or just creating a system in which you can help people sort out their inboxes, because some of us don't always have the clearest inboxes, and you need a system that works in place. People are willing to pay for that, but it's finding the right way to market yourself, finding the keywords that people are searching for, and making sure that you can get those gigs, because those are things that comes easy to you but might not necessarily be easy to other people, or some people just don't want to do them, so they're more than happy to hire people to do that. So if you are looking at freelancing work and doing things like that, then I would highly recommend that you spend some time, maybe just spend like an hour, go through Fiverr and have a look at what people are actually putting in there. Think about your personal skills, go in there and just type all those things in there: data entry, virtual assistant, just type in assistant, have a look at what other people are doing. If you're really good at social media, especially because social media is going to be like the way forward, going forward, in the way in which people market themselves, the way in which brands market themselves. If you're really good at social media, if you're really good at graphic design, if you're really good at like reading and doing anything to do with like reviewing people's work, there is a lot of demand for that, but it's just making sure you market yourself out there and pick up those gigs. And those are things that you could do after work, like now, dedicate an hour, do that, and you can make like, 15-20 pounds easily just doing something that took you an hour, which is really, really great. So you can imagine how that compiles over time. In fact, I watched this. There's a fantastic YouTube video by CNBC Make It of this young lady, and I say young because she's only like 22, and she's making around 300,000 on Fiverr. And the way she does it is that she's really, really good at consuming information and turning that into like ebooks or like a course or something like that. So something that would take people like 4 weeks to do, she can do that in a week. And she's now got it to the point where she can do it over a weekend. She doesn't sleep, but she can say that, it'll take her like 20 hours to write an ebook, and that's £1,000. She won't sleep for 20 hours, but she'll have made £1,000. And she's like, for the rest of the week, I could just sleep if I want to. And so it's finding ways to basically make money using the skills that you already have and things that you are really, really good at. So I would highly recommend that. That's a personal exercise that I'm doing at the moment. And I'm making sure that what I'm doing is just sitting down, doing a skills test to write down all the skills and all the things that you do on your 9 to 5, and why not get paid even more money for them? Because if people are looking for them and you can do them really, really easily, then you're onto a winner. And so, then, before you know it, you'll be telling me what I need to be doing, because you'll be making a whole heap of cash. So yeah, definitely check out Fiverr and see what is going on there. Check up Upwork. So Upwork is similar to Fiverr, but instead of doing it for individuals, Upwork is more for freelancing with companies, is my understanding. So I would definitely recommend that. And those are challenges that we can do as we go along. But first, we are going to sell the things in this house first before we even think about doing that. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. And then of course, if you are very good in terms of like creating digital products, then digital products is also another good way of creating additional income, because you create something. And in fact, you can actually do this. You can go on Fiverr and you can pay someone to create your digital products, and then you can sell them on different platforms. You can sell them on Etsy, you can sell them on eBay. And the good thing about digital products is the fact that once you've got the product itself, either as an Excel file or as a PowerPoint, whatever file you've got it in, all you have to do is upload it one time, and then people pay. And as they pay, they get the file sent to them. So it's really, really passive. And even if you think you're not very, very good at design or the graphic side of it, you can pay someone to do that for you. And, you invest in that, and then it's a recurring way of making money. So again, check out Fiverr. You would think I'm being sponsored by Fiverr on this, but I'm not. I'm just sharing some of the things that are helping me. So yes, definitely check that out. as we go along, and see how you can make the most of what you have, and see how that goes. Can you just see that there's one little hair here trying to steal my limelight? But yes. But yeah, so I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions. Otherwise, I think I will wrap this up. It's getting kind of late. I say that, but it's only like 9 or 10. But I'm really trying my hardest to like not stay up too late and try and become more of a morning person. I used to be a morning person. Now I'm a late night person, and I wish I could go back to the days of waking up at like 5 a.m. I feel like if you wake up at 5 a.m., you're more productive, but maybe that's just a false perception. But I feel like if I go to bed later, obviously I can do stuff going on throughout the night, but I feel like I should still wake up early, but that's just me. But yes, so I'm going to, like I said, so if you're interested, we are going to be doing the 30-day money challenge. And so between now and next week, Wednesday, if you want to be involved, try and find something that you want to declutter. Declutter your space. Find a few things that you don't want anymore. Let's put them on Vinted or eBay or whatever app you choose to do. And then in the next live, I will show you what my Vinted site looks like or my eBay site looks like, and we'll see how much money you can make out of that. And I will see you again next week. So I'm super excited. Let's start this challenge. Let's make some money, and who knows, this might be the one thing that actually transforms our lives and we can make it into an actual side income that generates good money for us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mariella. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend. Yes. And I will see you in my next video, of course, or I will see you in the next live. But for everybody else, thank you so much for taking time out of your Thursday and spending it with me. And I will see you guys in the next live. Do take care. Bye. Thanks, Alabe. Thanks, Nana. Take care. Bye.